champions. I hope that you are doing as wonderful and cute as you always are, and I welcome you all to day 28 of scoring 99% in 99 days. Today there will be a mock test, right? I hope you downloaded the question paper. Okay, the question paper was there in the community post. Please, if you have not tried yet, please try it once and then you can check your answers with us. Works? So basically, I, Jasmine Joy, would be dealing with heredity chapter, which is from biology, and then Soumik sir will be coming in the later half of this particular class and would be discussing questions from human eye and the colorful world. So let's get into the Josh. Let's see how many questions have I included. So there will be total of 12 questions. 1 to 6 questions would be of 1 mark, which will include both assertion, reason and MCQs. 7 and 8th question is 2 marker, 9th and 10th is 3 marker, there would be the 11th question would be 5 marker and the 12th question would be 4 marker. In total, you are getting 25 marks. So, being good bacha log now, what you can do is, you can tell me how much did you score after I tell you the answers. Okay, so you can tally your answers with me and then do let me know your scores as well. I want to see that vigor in you. Tell me how much did you find, however small marks it may be. I just want to know whether you are trying or not. Trying is something very big. Okay, it's not just about the marks. If you put your efforts, it will show up someday. Okay, starting off with the first question. Height of a plant is regulated by. Height of a plant. Listen, height of any organism is regulated by something that is known as growth hormone. Cool. And growth hormone basically has to be made in our body. For being made in our body, obviously you need certain things such as enzymes, which could be probably converting this to this, and this could be a growth hormone. So this conversion requires what? Enzyme. Now enzymes are what, children? Enzymes are nothing but proteins. And who codes proteins in our body? It will be the DNA. In the DNA there are specific segments. There are specific segments which you call as genes, and genes are the one that are responsible for coding proteins. Now these proteins can be enzymes or can be something else. Suppose it is an enzyme. Suppose it is an enzyme and it is helping in the conversion of A to B, and B is our growth hormone. So indirectly, growth hormone is being made with the help of enzyme that is coded by what? A gene. So DNA. So height of a plant is regulated by DNA, which is directly influenced by growth hormone. No, growth hormone does not influence the DNA. Now genes which regulate the proteins directly, no, it is not directly regulating any protein there. Now growth hormones under the influence of enzyme coded by a gene. So growth hormone is the one that is coding for the height, and it is under the influence of what? Under the influence of enzymes, which is coded by what? Gene. So this is apparently correct, but let's see the last option. Growth hormones directly under the influence of a gene. This gene directly influences the growth hormone? No, there is an enzyme being made, and under the influence of the enzyme only you are making the growth hormone. So this is a very crucial thing that you should be knowing. It came in CBSE's sample question paper 2023-24. Okay, so please make note of that. Understand the question really well and then only go ahead. Some people know they directly go with the 4th option. Growth hormones directly under the influence of a gene. That will be really long. It's not wrong. It is not directly under the influence. There is an enzyme being involved over there. Works? Chalo. Next question. If a tall pea plant is crossed with pure dwarf pea plant, then what percentage of F1 and F2 generation respectively will be tall? So we have already studied this. Pure as in you're talking about homozygous condition. Pure tall as in both of the alleles would be same. Okay. And pure dwarf as in it will look like this. So first thing that we have to make is the F1 generation. Let's see. So this is the parent. These are the parents. Now we have to form the gamete. Let's form the gamete. So capital T. What do you mean by this? Basically, if this is a pair of allele, children, from a pair of allele, one allele will be coming in a gamete, either one. So anyways, whatever you pick, either this or this, you will be having capital T only in the gamete. Similarly, here it will be small t, here it will be small t. These are the gametes. Now we have to find F1 generation. For that, we have to fuse this with this. This gamete can fuse with this, you get capital T small t. You can fuse this with this, again you get capital T small t. This with this, capital T small t. This with this, capital T small t. All of them, children, if you see there is capital T and small t combination, and you know capital means it is dominant. So if capital T is for tall, all of them, they are basically dominant, and hence all of them will be what, children? Tall. Okay, all of them will be tall. So I will say 100% of them are tall. Okay, We want to find what is the percentage of F1 and F2 generation respectively who will be tall. So all of them are tall in F1 generation. Now for F2 generation, what we have to do? We have to cross either of the progenies. Let's do that then. Now the parent is like this. These are the parents. Okay. If you understand this particular thing, you can solve so many questions which will be coming along your way. Okay. So this is the parent now forming in the gametes. It can be either capital T or it can be small t. As in, if it's a pair of chromosome, from a pair, one chromosome would be going into a gamete. You know, half the number of chromosomes would be going into a gamete. So either one of them will be going into a gamete, right? Similarly, over here also it can be capital T or it can be small t. Now, these were the gametes. This time it's F2 generation that we are talking about. So this goes with this, so you get capital T, capital T. This goes with this, so you get capital T, small t. This goes with this, you get again capital T, small t. This goes with this, you get small t, small t. Okay. So over here, how many of them are tall, children? How many of them will be tall? So this is tall for sure because both are dominant. This is also tall. This is also tall. And this will be dwarf. So if you see, the ratio will be 3:1. 3 of them among 4 are tall, right? And 1 of them will be dwarf. So if you want to make percentage thingy, so I will say 75% of them are tall, whereas 25% of them are dwarf. Works? So total makes it 100. So total makes 100. So 75% of them will be tall in the F2 generation, whereas 100% of them will be tall in the F1 generation. So this becomes your answer, right? F1 first and then F2. So 100, then 75. Okay, this is sample question paper 2022 question. Going ahead with the next question that we are having, I hope you're understanding things. Okay, a Mendelian experiment consisted of breeding pea plants bearing violet flowers with pea plants bearing white flowers. What will be the result in F1 progeny? What will be the result in F1 progeny? Heterozygous plant with violet flowers, homozygous, so they are asking same thing that we did there. Okay, so first thing that you should be knowing is that violet is dominant over white. In the case of the pea plant, there are 7 pair of contrasting characters. I hope you know that. Okay, if you're not knowing, you can still go and learn it. Okay, I've already taught in the class. Please have a watch of that. Okay, now over here, if I say about flower color, so just like how we had height, in height capital T is dominant over the small t. Similarly, in the case of flower color, violet is dominant. Violet is dominant, which is why I'll give capital V, and then white is recessive, which is why I'll give small v. Okay, now they are saying you're crossing violet flowers with white flowers. You're crossing violet flowers with white flowers, just like how you were crossing capital T with small tt. Same thing will be happening. So these are the parents. Okay, now tell me the gametes, children. What will be the gametes over here? Okay, it can be either capital W, capital V, or again capital V, or it can be small v or small v over here. Now, when you want to fuse this in F1 generation, we have to fuse them, right? So over here, this gamete can fuse with this. So you get capital V, small v. That means it will be violet in color because there is capital V to dominate, right? Now, next thing, this with this, again capital V, small v, this will again dominate. This with this, capital V, small v. This with this, capital V, small v. It will be always dominant, always, all of them will be violet in color. But the thing is, they are asking heterozygous or homozygous. What are you getting? Over here you see, if this was the condition where both the letters were same, you would call this homozygous. But over here you see there is capital V and there is small v. That means it is heterozygous. So it is heterozygous plant but with violet flowers. All of them is violet, right? So heterozygous plant with violet flowers. And this becomes your answer. Cool? Works? Chalo. Next question. In pea plant, round seed is dominant over wrinkled. If a cross is carried out between these two plants, the genotypic ratio of F2 generation obtained from this cross is. So round seed is dominant. Okay. So I'll say capital R is dominant. That means you're talking about round ones. In a pea plant, round seed is dominant over the wrinkled. So wrinkled will be small r. Okay. What do we have to find out? The genotypic ratio of F2 progeny obtained from this cross. So first of all, we have to find the F1 progeny, but every time will you go around doing the same thing again and again and again and again? Children, it's the same thing like, suppose as of now you're talking about capital R and small r. This is what you have to find out. First you have to find the F1 generation, then the F2 generation. So it's just like capital T and small t. In that you got that all of them were capital T, small t. First generation. Similarly over here also you will find all of them are capital R, small r. One dominant, one recessive, this one will show up. Now you are going to fuse with this. So next thing that is done over here is you cross like this, right? Similarly over here also you will cross like that only. And then what will you find? You will find that one of them will be capital R, one of them will be small r. Two of them will be capital R, small r. Okay, so over here, what is the genotypic ratio is being asked? So genotypic ratio, if you see, the genotype as in this thing is known as genotype, the genetic makeup. You see, one among them is like capital R. Two among them is capital R, small r. One among them is small r. So what is the ratio? 1:2:1. Okay, so 1 you have to write like this, capital R is to 2, that is capital R, small r, is to 1, that is small r. This is the thing. So your answer will be 1:2:1. Now do not get confused with this thing. This is when you're talking about dihybrid cross. Over here, usually you remember round with yellow and what's say wrinkled with green, right? But over here they have mentioned round seed is dominant over wrinkled. If a cross is carried out between these two plants, they have not mentioned the other character there. It's just talking about the shape of the seed. No other character is involved. So this is a monohybrid cross, just like this. So in monohybrid cross, the F2 generation will be having the genotypic ratio of 1:2:1 always. Okay, cool. So this will be the answer. Next question. Assertion and reason. Probability of survival of an organism produced through sexual reproduction is more than that of organism produced through asexual reproduction. So do you think probability of survival of an organism produced through sexual reproduction would be more? Yes. Why? Because in sexual reproduction you would be having more variation. Why sexual reproduction has more variation? Because there is involvement of two parents. So two parents means two different type of genetic material is coming together. So that means it will give rise to more amount of variation. And along with that, whenever I say that two different parents are involved, they have to give their DNA. So they do not give their own DNA, they copy their DNA and they send the copy. So while the copying of DNA occurs, there are so many errors that could happen that could also lead to variation. So there are two reasons for sexual reproduction to give more variation. One is that two parents are involved, so two genetic material is there. Second is that because of DNA copying that is happening over here, that also can give out errors, which is why you find more variation. Whereas in asexual reproduction, where there is only one parent involved, you cannot expect a new combination over there. The errors will be occurring only during replication. That is, for example, even this particular organism, if it has to divide into two, it has to copy its DNA and give it to the two organisms that will be found from it. So copying errors could lead to variation in this case of asexual reproduction, but you would be finding more amount of variation in sexual reproduction by any chance. Now variation provide advantage to individuals for survival. This is also correct. So can I say the assertion is there, the reason is there. Reason is kind of explaining the assertion. Why probability of survival of an organism produced through sexual reproduction is more? Because there are more variations which provides more advantages. Okay, so both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. This becomes the correct answer. This is CBSE sample question paper 2023-24 question. Works? Chalo. Next question. Last of the one marker. Okay. Assertion says a geneticist crossed a pea plant having violet flowers with a pea plant with white flowers. He got all violet flowers in the first generation. Okay. In the first generation, he got all the violet flowers. So it is like this. This was the first generation. All of them were violet in color. Agreed? Because there was a capital V which was dominant. Now, the second part of the question says white color gene is not passed on to the next generation. Do you think this is because the white color gene is not passed into the next generation? That will be utterly true. Over here you see the white color gene is still there. It is passed. It will be passed to the next generation also. Now if you want to have the second generation, okay, This will fuse with this, so you get capital V, capital V. This will fuse with this, you get capital V, small v. This will fuse with this, you get capital V, small v. This will fuse with this, you get small v, small v. You see, the genes are always passed, which is why you see a character like white color later on. If this gene was not passed, then probably in F2 generation you would never see the white color. Even though in this generation you never saw the white flowers, but in the next generation you saw it because that gene was passed. Even though it was not visible. Why it was not visible? Because there was someone to dominate over it, to overshadow its effect. Okay. So white color gene is not passed on to the next generation. This is wrong. This is correct. Whenever you cross between violet flowers, pure breed violet flowers and white flowers, he got that all the violet flowers are there in the first generation. This is exactly true. Okay, but that does not mean the white color gene is not passed. So I will say assertion is true, the reason is false. Works. Cool. Chalo. Now let's do the next type of question, which is 2-marker question. So let's do. Mustard was growing in 2 fields, A and B. This is A field, this is B field. Chalo. Field A produced brown colored seeds. Brown seeds. Field B produced yellow color seeds. Yellow seeds. Okay. It was observed that in field A, the offspring showed only the parental trait for consecutive generation. That is, whenever there were 2 parents and they bred, it was always brown colored seed offspring. So whatever they did, it was brown color only at the end. Whereas in field B, majority of the offspring show variation in the progeny. What are the probable reason for it? So this time over here in the field B, what was happening? Basically, when the plants were breeding, they were giving rise to different variations. They were giving rise to different variations. Now the question is, why so? Why do you think this variation has occurred and why there is no variation up here? I can tell you the answer. The answer would be that if you are seeing one character only in the case of plants, probably the case might be that they are doing self-pollination. That is, for example, there is a flower which has the female reproductive part and the male reproductive part over here. So from here to here, if pollen grains are going, whatever progeny is being produced, every time it will be the same character, since the egg and the male gamete is from the same plant. So whatever you do, it will be what? Mostly brown only in color. Similarly, this is self-pollination, this is also self-pollination, where from here, from this pollen, if it is coming to this flower, different flower of the same plant, still it is known as self-pollination only. In this case, there is no new variation occurring, right? But in the case of B, probably the flowers are there on another plant. So for example, this could be the case where from here the pollen are coming and pollinating this. So there you see cross pollination is happening. So in cross pollination you need parent 1 and you need parent 2. Please do not think of this as asexual mode of reproduction. No, it is sexual only. There is fusion of male and female gamete, but it's from the same plant. So you don't see variation in there. But over here, when you see there are 2 parents being involved, so that means the genetic material of this particular organism and this particular plant is getting mixed. That means there is new variation. So you would be finding more type of, different type of seeds over here. So that is a reason. So how can you explain this? How can you explain this in the form of an answer? We can write like this. In field A, the reason for parental trait in consecutive generation is of the offspring is self-pollination. What will you write? It is self-pollination. In field B, variation is seen to occur because of recombination of genes as cross-pollination. Or basically, you can just write because mixing of genes during mixing of genetic material during cross-pollination. Okay, mixing of genetic material of 2 plants during this thing. And here it is because self-pollination is happening in the same plant, which is why there is no variation. Here there is mixing of genetic material of 2 different plants. Here self-pollination is happening in the same plant. That is the reason. Okay. Now next question. In an asexually reproducing species, if trait X exists in 5% of the population, in an asexually reproducing species. Okay, it is reproducing what? How, children? Asexually. And you see a trait is there just in 5% of the population, trait X, whereas trait Y is there and it is found in 70% of the population. Which of the two traits is likely to have arisen earlier? Which do you think might have arisen earlier? Obviously the one that has 70%. For example, there is a bacteria that has this particular trait, that is Y. It will divide, again this trait Y will be there. It will divide, again this trait Y will be there. Okay, it will divide, again the trait Y is there, which is why 70% of the population, all of them, whenever they divide, they have 70% of them will be having Y trait, whereas this 5% of generation has X trait, because probably now there might be some variation occurring recently, which is why they have X, which is why it is not spread in all the generations, which is why it is not found in all the population, because it is a very recent variation that has occurred. Very recent thing that has occurred over here, which is why it would have arisen later, whereas when you talk about 70% of the population, if it has this particular trait, that means trait Y has arisen earlier. Okay, so how can you frame your answer? You can frame it like this. Trait Y, which exists in 70% of the population, is likely to have arisen earlier because in asexual reproduction, identical copies of DNA are produced and variations do not occur. So you know variations are not occurring, which is why it is getting transferred one by one. New traits come in the population due to sudden mutation and then are inherited. 70% of the population with trait Y is likely to have been replicating than trait X for a longer time than replicating for a longer time than 5% of population with trait X. So you can directly write without writing all this thing also, you can just say since 70% of the population has it and in asexual reproduction there is no much variation occurring, most of the organism had it earlier and they are transporting it to the next generation, which is why all of them have this particular trait. Whereas 5%, if 5% of the population has this new trait, that means the variation might have arisen just early. Just now, not before. Okay, it might have just arose now, not earlier. Works. So these the purpose of putting these questions were these type of questions could also come. So you generally think that okay, it's about heredity, so it will be just about heredity related questions, but there are certain questions coming from this aspect also where you're talking about which mode of reproduction has more variations, or probably these type of question, that is which in asexual reproduction, if you are not knowing that variation is not occurring, then why does 70% of them have this 70% of them have this trait? Then that will be a problem. 70% of them have this trait because in asexual reproduction there is no much amount of variation happening, and probably it might have started earlier, which is why all of them they have it. Now the next question is of a 3-marker question. 2 pea plants, one with round yellow seeds and another with wrinkled green seeds. Okay, you see round is dominant and yellow is also dominant. Both of them are in homozygous condition. So what will I call this? I will call this pure breed, or I will call this condition as homozygous condition. And another with wrinkled green, this is also homozygous, okay, recessive. Seeds produce F1 generation that have round and yellow seeds. So when you fuse this with this, you found that all of them were round and yellow. When F1 plants are self-pollinated, which new combination of character is expected in F2 progeny? How many seeds with these combinations? Okay, let's do it part by part. When F1 plants are self-pollinated, that means these plants, when they are self-pollinated, that means you have to make a copy like this. Okay, which new combination of character is expected in F2? So we have to find that is new character that is found in F2. How will you find that? First of all, you need to make the gametes. So how do you make the gametes, children? Suppose this is capital R, this is small r, this is capital Y, this is small y. From a pair of chromosome, only one pair will be going, right? So either this and this can go. So suppose this has went, and with this it has went, so it will be RY. In a gamete it can have R and capital Y. Now in the next one you can have R, capital R and small y also. In the next one you can have small r and then you can have capital Y also. and then you can have small r, small y also. So these are the gametes formed by one plant. Similarly, you will be having gametes from another plant also, which looks like this. Okay, now you have to fuse them. So instead of fusing like this, you can make the Punnett square. But do you need to do all these things, my dear children? Do you actually need to make all these things? No, I'll tell you an easy trick. So you started off with round and yellow seeds, okay, and then you have wrinkled and green. So round and yellow and wrinkled and green is there. This is what you started off with the parental generation, and you got that all of them were round and yellow in the F1 generation. In F2 generation, there is always new combination that could be found. So how can you find the new combination? How can you frame the new combination without making all this thing? So what you can do is, round and yellow is a combination, right? Now make round and green. Round and wrinkled cannot come together because you're either it can be tall or it can be dwarf. It cannot be both, right? Similarly, it can be round or wrinkled. So you take round, and then if here it was yellow, you write green now. Similarly, if wrinkled was with green, this time you can write yellow. So this is a new combination you can find in F2 generation. In F2 generation, you will be having this, you will be having this also, and you will be having this and this. So these are the new combinations that you can find. Which new combination you can find? Basically round and green and wrinkled and yellow. How many seeds with these new combination of characters will be produced when a total of 160 seeds are produced in F2 generation? So they are asking you how many seeds will be giving these characters. Okay, so how will you find that? Basically, remember the ratio of F2 generation, 9:3:3:1, where 9 stands for the dominant one, that is round and yellow, 1 stands for wrinkled and green, 3 stands for the new one, 3 stands for the new one. So 9 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1, what do you get? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 is total number of offsprings that you get, and over here what will be produced when total 160 seeds are produced in F2 progeny. So 16 x is equals to 160 seeds. So x is equals to 160 upon 16, which gives you 10, and now I just have to multiply this 10. Now I know the x. So 9, 10, 10, 10. So 9 to 10, 90. So 90 of them will be having this thing, round and yellow. Then 30 of them will be having round and green. Again 30 of them will be having wrinkled and yellow. And then 10 of them will be having what, children? 10, 10, 10 of them will be having wrinkled and green. So 90 plus 30 gives you 10, 11, 12. Okay, and then 50, 160. In total you get 160, and we started off with 160 only. So if they are asking how many seeds with these two new combination of characters will be produced when a total of 160 seeds are produced, children, so it will be 30 plus 30. This is a new combination, right? 30 plus 30 will give you what? 60. There will be 60 seeds. Okay, explain with reason. So this is how you can write your answer. Round and green is a new combination. Okay, wrinkled and yellow is a new combination, 30 and 30. So you get 60. New combinations are produced because of the independent inheritance of seed shape and seed color. That means, why do you think this new combination is being produced? Because, children, over here, if suppose from this pair capital R was going and from this pair capital Y was going, and if this capital R always said that I would only go with capital Y, do you think new word combination would arise? We formed a gamete that has capital R and capital Y. We then formed a gamete that has capital R and small y combination also. If the gamete itself is not formed like that, if the alleles that you see over here are not separating independently, then this won't happen. That means, if I say this is capital R, this is small r, this is capital Y, this is small y, and this is the case of a plant that has capital R, small r, capital Y, small y condition. If I am saying the gametes, only half the number of chromosomes will be transferred. If from this half, I always say that capital R will be going, and from this half, always with capital R, capital Y will be going, then can you find newer combination? No. You will find newer combination when from this combination, capital R can go with small y also. From this combination, small r can go with capital Y also. Small r can go with small y also. So what do you understand? That basically alleles, these are the alleles of one character is independently assorting of the alleles of another character. This is regarding the color. This is regarding the shape. So these alleles are segregating independently. He is not saying that I will be going with just this one. No, that is a wrong thing. So they have multiple friends. Okay, so since they are independently assorting, you are getting new type of gametes, and when you have new type of gametes, you have new combination. For suppose this is the gamete of one such plant. Similarly, there will be one more such plant over here. Let me make. So the gametes will be same. So capital R, capital Y, capital R, small r, capital Y, and then small r, small y. Now it's time to fuse the gametes. This can fuse with this, giving me capital R, capital R, capital Y, capital Y. This is round and yellow. Similarly, if I fuse this with this, what do I get? Capital R, capital Y, small y. This is also round and yellow. If I fuse this with this, what do I get? Capital R, small y, small y. So this is what? Round and green. This is a new combination I am getting. If it was not like this, if the gametes were not formed like this, then can you find newer combination? No. So you find newer combination because these alleles of one particular character are segregating or separating independently of the alleles of another character. Works? So this is the reason. I hope I was able to explain you the reason, and you might be knowing how to write the answer now. Cool? Works? So this is CBSE sample question paper term 2 2022 question. Now next question that we are having is this. Given below is a schematic diagram showing Mendel's experiment on sweet pea plant having axial flowers with round seed. So axial flower with round seed is there, and terminal flowers with wrinkled seed is there. So which one is dominant, my dear children? Axial flower or terminal? Axial is dominant, which is why it is mentioned by capital A, capital A, capital R, capital R. Now if it is mentioned like this, it is well and good. Okay. If they are saying something else, go according to the question. Go according to the question. Actually, axial is always dominant over terminal. But if in your question it is said that axial is recessive, axial is shown like this. Axial is shown. Where is it? They have mentioned axial and they have written it like this. That means they are saying that axial is recessive in this condition. So over here they have clearly mentioned that axial is dominant because capital A is mentioned. So let's keep it like that only. Now what do we have to find out? Give the phenotype of F1 progeny. So what is the phenotype? How do they look? Phenotype as in physical character they are asking you. Phenotype, physical character. So what is the phenotype of F1 generation, my dear children? Of F1 generation, what do you see over here? Capital A, small a is there, so capital A will be dominant over the small a. Capital R, small r is there, so capital R will be dominant. Capital A stands for axial, so all of them will be axial. Okay, capital R stands for what? Round, so all of them will be round. So what is the phenotype of F1 generation, children? All of them will be axial and round. Now give the phenotype of F2 progeny produced upon self-pollination of F1 progeny. So when I am doing selfing of this, okay, when I am doing selfing of AA, RR and AA, RR, they are asking me the F2 progeny. I told you how you can find out. Phenotype of F2 progeny, how you can find out? You write the parental variety first. You write there will be axial and round, and there will be what, say, terminal and wrinkled. There will be terminal, I will write it properly so that you remember it. Wait. There will be terminal and wrinkled. This combination will be definitely there. This is the parent combination. Now you have to find the new combination. So axial was with round. Now what will you do? We will make axial with wrinkled. So this is the new combination that we have. Similarly, terminal was with wrinkled. Now what will you do? We will make terminal with round. So this is a new combination. Give the phenotype of F2 progeny. This is the phenotype of F2 progeny, my dear children. There will be axial round, axial wrinkled, terminal round and terminal wrinkled. Okay, give the phenotypic ratio of F2 progeny. How will you find the phenotypic ratio? 9 goes for the dominant variety of the parental type. So 9 is here. Okay, 1 goes for the recessive variety, that is terminal and wrinkled. 3 goes for axial and wrinkled, and 3 will go for the terminal round. The newer combination will always have 3. So what is the ratio? 9:2, 3:3:1. This is the phenotypic ratio, not the genotypic ratio. They will never ask. The phenotypic ratio, this is how they look, this is how they ask also. Now name and explain the law introduced by Mendel on the basis of the above observation. What was the law? This law was law of independent assortment. What is the name of the law? The name of the law is law of independent assortment, and I already told you that the other time, right? What do you mean by law of independent assortment? So basically, if these are the gametes, sorry, these are the chromosomes, capital A over here, small a over here, capital R over here, small r, the alleles of one particular character will be segregating independent of the alleles of another character. So it can either go with, A can go with capital R or it can go with small r, and that's how you form the gametes. If you are not forming the gametes like this, you won't find the newer combinations like this. So to check your answers, you can check with the help of this. Phenotype of F1 progeny is egg cell flowers with round seeds. Phenotype of F2 progeny is egg cell round, egg cell wrinkled, terminal round, terminal wrinkled. Phenotypic ratio is 9:3:3:1. Mendel gave the law of independent assortment on the basis of above observation. So whenever you have a dihybrid cross, this type of cross is known as dihybrid because you're taking two characters at the same time. That is, one is the flower position, another is the shape of the flower, shape of the seed. So two characters if you're taking, you call this dihybrid cross, and with the help of dihybrid cross he gave the third law of inheritance, which is law of independent assortment. Now Mendel gave the other two laws, law of dominance and law of segregation, on the basis of monohybrid cross. That is when you're talking about just one trait at a time. For example, height, tall and dwarf. Okay. Now next question, the 11th question, which is a very fun question. I loved it. It's a 5-marker question. So Pooja has green eyes. Okay. First let's read the question. That's how you usually do in exam now. So let's read the question first. Pooja has green eyes while her parents and brother have black eyes. Pooja's husband Ravi has black eyes while his mother has green eyes and father has black eyes. On the basis of above given information, is the green eye color dominant or recessive? Oh my god, ma'am, I'm not able to understand anything. So what you can do is, you can write it down. So we have Pooja, and Pooja has what? Green eyes, while her parents and brother have black eyes. So parents I have to make, parent 1, parent 2 have black eyes, and her brother bro is also having black eyes. So these parents are giving Pooja the green color, these parents are also giving the bro black color of eyes. Okay. Now when I do this, at this point also I understand what I am trying to say. So basically, if this is black, this is black, okay, and if the brother is also black, that means probably the green trait is recessive trait. It is not shown in so many organisms like this. The brother, it was not seen. In the brother, it was not seen. So I don't think it is a dominant trait. And the parents also had this. If the parents had this and in the progeny you are finding it, that means it could be a recessive trait. Okay. The parents had it and in the progeny you are finding, parents had black color, but in the progeny you are finding something new. That means in the parent this new thing was hidden somewhere. That is why it was not being shown up here. So I'll say, if I assume that capital B is for black and small b is for green, I'll say the parental combination could have been capital B small b, capital B small b, which is why this was dominant, this was dominant, which is why both of them were having black color. But in the generation that was being formed over here, suppose it is capital B, sorry, small b, capital B, small b, this is the parents. So gametes, if we form, it will be like capital B or it can be small b. It can be capital B or it can be small b. So if I fuse this with this, I get capital B. That means black. If I fuse this with this, I get capital B, small b, again black. If I fuse this with this, capital B, small b, black. This with this, I get small b, green. So that means what? This is the recessive trait, which is why it is being expressed over here. So always remember, if in the parental generation you are not seeing that combination, but you are seeing a newer combination in the progeny generation, then in the progeny generation, whatever character is there, that is a recessive trait. Always understand that. Okay. Now the next scenario. Pooja's husband Ravi has black eyes. So Pooja's husband Ravi, so Ravi has black eyes. Cool. Agreed. While his mother has green eyes. So mother, parent 1, has green eyes. Okay. While her father had black eyes. Parent 2 had black eyes. This can also explain you a lot of things. Okay. So parent 1 has green eyes and parent 2 has black eyes. Still Ravi has black eyes. That means Ravi, the black character will be dominant. That means the black character can be dominant. So can we try to find this particular thing? If mother is green, green will be only expressed in this condition, that is small b, small b. Okay, and if the father is black eye, and the father, if it is black and I write black like this, if I write black like this, what will happen, children? All of the progeny will be black in color. All of the progeny will be black in color. So can we make like this? Can we make all the progeny black in color? Why I say all the progeny will be black in color? You only think. You only think if this is small b, this is capital B, whatever I do, this with this, all of them will be like this. This is the black condition. So Ravi can be like this. Assuming the father is like this, you can assume that it can be. So you might have this thought that, ma'am, it can be something like this also, right? This is also black only. In that case also, to make Ravi black, what do you have to do? Children, in that condition also, if you want to make Ravi black, anyway, this has to fuse with this to make it black. If this fuses with this, it will be green in color. If this fuses with this, it will be black in color. So in whatever case you see, black will be obtained like this. There won't be any black like this. So Ravi has to be a black like this only. This is the only option of black that he can be. And in the case of green eyes, it will be small b, small b. I hope you are trying to understand what I am trying to say. Okay. So parent 1 is green in color, has green color, that means it is small b, small b. It is a recessive trait. Parent B has black color, it can be this or this. But either way, whatever it is, it could be, at the end, Ravi will be capital B, small b only. There is no other option. If you are still confused, I can make things a lot better for you by making it properly. So let's assume two conditions, okay? Let's assume the father is like capital B, and the mother has no option. The mother is like this only. The gametes will be capital B, small b, small b. This combination with this gives capital B, small b. This with this, capital B, small b. This with this, capital B, small b. This with this, capital B, small b. Whatever you do, this is the black that they get. It cannot be homozygous black. Now the second scenario is when the father is like this, black like this, and the mother is like this. So here also gamete capital B, it can be capital B or it can be small b. Similarly, it can be small b or small b. Now, if you fuse this with this, you get capital B, small b. If you fuse this with this, you get capital B, small b. If you this with this, you get small b, you get small b, small b. So these are green eyes. I want black. So black will be again like this only. So whatever I do, Ravi's genotype will be like this. And I have to find Ravi's genotype. So on the basis of above given information, is the green eye color a dominant or a recessive trait? It will be a recessive trait. Justify your answer, because it was not seen in the parental generation, but it's still being seen in the what? In the progeny F1 generation, in the case of Pooja, okay. And in the case of Ravi also, the character black which was there only in one parent, it is being shown up here in his character also. That means it is a dominant trait. Now, what is possible genetic makeup of Pooja's brother's eye color? What is the possible genetic makeup of Pooja's brother's eye color? So Pooja's brother is black in color. So when we did a cross, we found that only one was green, rest all of them were black. So the possible genotypes can be what? Either he can be like this, or he can be like this. This is the possible genotypes of Pooja's brother's eyes. Now, what is the probability that the offspring of Pooja and Ravi will have green eyes? Also show inheritance of eye color in the offspring with the help of a suitable cross. Now, if you do not know Pooja's and Ravi's genotype, it will be difficult for you to find this answer. But now since we know, it's easy. So Pooja has small b, okay, and Ravi has what, children? Ravi has capital B, small b. So we have to find the possible what genotypes of possible? No, we have to find the probability of the offspring of Pooja and Ravi who will have green eyes. So let's see. So capital B, small b is the gamete. small b is the gamete. If you use this with this, you get capital B small b. If you use this with this, you get capital B small b. If you use this with this, you get small b small b. If you use this with this, you get small b small b. So the probability of the ones that will have what say of green eye color will be this. Both of them are black, both of them are green. So 50% I can say. 50% will be 1:1 ratio is there. So it can be 50%. Also show the inheritance. This is how you can show the inheritance. So this is how you have to frame your answers, children. Yes, green eye color is recessive as it will be expressed only in homozygous condition. You can write answers directly like that rather than explaining it a lot. What do you say, children? Why it is recessive? Because only it is expressed in homozygous condition, which is why we say that green eye color is a recessive trait. Now, what is the possible genetic makeup of Pooja's brother? I said capital B, or capital B, small b. So it can be this or this. Now, you are asked to make Ravi's and this thing. So this is Pooja's eye color, this is Ravi's. When you make a cross, it will look like this. So what you can do is, you can put both the gametes over here, small b and capital B, capital V. You cross this with this, you get this. You cross with this, you get this. So in this way, you get to know there is a 50% chance of their offspring that will be having green eye color, this and this. Works? Nice question, no? So I would request you to do it once, even without seeing. Okay, even without seeing, you should be trying it out once. Now there's a case study based question which is also very much interesting. So the question says, it goes like this. Figure A to D, this is A, B, C, D, okay. Given below represent the type of earlobes present in a family consisting of two children, Rahul and Nisha. Okay, Rahul and Nisha. Now, and their parents. Excited by his observation of different types of earlobes present in his family, Rahul conducted a survey of the type of earlobes found in his classmate. He found two types of earlobes in his classmate as per the frequency given below. Okay, so there was basically attached earlobe and free earlobe. So attached earlobe looks like this, where you have the, it is like in the continuous, this is your ears, it is continuing with your face. Whereas the free one will be having a kind of a gap over here, as you can see. Okay, this is the free earlobe. Suppose this is your face. Now, on the basis of above data, answer the following questions concept the dominant recessive traits. Okay, which of the following characters, free earlobe or attached earlobe, appears to be dominant in this case? Why? So let's see the case first. Let's see who all has dominant, who all has recessive. So over here, you see Rahul's father has free earlobe. Okay. Rahul has attached earlobe. Rahul's mother also has, I think, yes, attached earlobe. Yes, it is attached only, right? Yes. And Rahul's sister Nisha also have what? Free earlobe. So both the children, one has attached earlobe, Rahul has attached, and Nisha has free. So let me write that first. So Rahul has attached, whereas Nisha has free earlobe. Okay, cool. If we talk about the parents, I assume that both of them have free earlobes. I assume that both of them have free earlobes. Okay, this also seems to free, this is also seeming to me to be free. If free is there in both the parents and if only Rahul have attached, whereas Nisha's is also free, I get to know if something is not found in the parental generation but it is found in the progeny generation, that means this particular thing is what? Recessive. This thing that you see is recessive, whereas the free one would be dominant, because you can find both in the parent. In the parent this is free, this is also free, whereas over here you see Nisha's is also free, but only Rahul has attached one. That means just like how we made it there in the case of black eye and green eye. So both the parents had black eye, but the progeny has green eye. That is a character that was not shown in the parental generation. That means this is a recessive trait that will show up in the next generation. Now, is the inheritance of the free earlobe linked with the sex of individual? Give reason for your answer. Do you think inheritance of the free earlobe is linked with the sex, as in free earlobe, a person who has free earlobe will be belonging to this particular sex? Is it like that? No, I see the father has free earlobe, the mother also has free earlobe, so it is not sex linked inheritance that you can find over here. So you will write your answer like that, both the father and the mother has free earlobes. Okay, so it is not sex dependent. Even the daughter also has free earlobe, so that is not sex dependent. Now, what type of earlobe is present in the father, mother, Rahul and his sister? Write genetic constitution of each of the family members, which explain the inheritance of the characters in this gene. Gene for free earlobe is represented by capital F, that means it is dominant, and gene for attached earlobe is represented by capital F for writing the genetic constitution. So, chalo, let's start. Let's find the fathers, mothers, Rahuls and sisters, Nishas. So, for that, we have to go here. Okay, no, we will go where? I said that fathers is what, children? Free. Mother is also free. And Rahul's is attached, whereas Nisha's, it is free. So, this is a recessive trait, and if recessive trait is being shown up in the next generation, that means you have the recessive allele over here. So, if F is for free, then you have small f also over here. You need one more small f to show the attached feature over here, the recessive feature, otherwise it won't be showing. So, the mother should also be like this, F and F, capital F and small f. Now, the gamete will be capital F, small f, capital F, small f. If you fuse this with this, you get capital F, capital F. If you fuse this with this, you get capital F, small f. If you fuse this with this, you get capital F, small f. If you fuse this with this, you get small f, small f. If both of them did not have small f, then small f won't be coming together and won't be giving you the attached earlobe. But Rahul has it. So, you have to understand that both the parents are heterozygous in condition. They are what, children? Heterozygous in condition. So, this is the genotype of the father, this is the genotype of the mother, this is the genotype of Rahul, that is small f, small f. Now, genotype of Nisha, who has free earlobe, can be this or it can be this. It can be capital F, capital homozygous condition, or it can be capital F, small f as well. Works? Cool? So, over here, let's see the answer. Father capital F, small f, mother capital F, small f, Rahul small f, Nisha can be capital F, small f, or she can be capital F as well. So, if you can, you make the genotype and then show it to them. It becomes easy. So, free earlobe is dominant because it is found in a large majority of the population, or because the attached earlobe is found only in the progeny generation but not in the parental generation. Now, it is not sex linked. As what is not sex linked? The free earlobe or attached earlobe thing is not sex linked, because as per the data of the family as well as the class, it is indicated free earlobe is present in males as well as females, both of them have it. Now, fathers is this and everything is this, and with that we have completed the 12 questions belonging to biology, my dear little champions, and I hope you were able to do it. The puja question and this question is kind of tricky, which is why I kept it at the end, so that you understand the basics first and then you get to understand other things. So, these type of questions are very much important. Practice it very well. There are questions on blood groups also. Practice them also if possible. If you need questions like that, do tell us, do let me know in the comment section. I am open to that. Okay. So, that's all, my dear champions, and yes, so if you're someone who is worried about what you should be doing after 10th, what stream should be the best for you or is the best for you, you can take Disha Scholastic Aptitude Test, where there will be a 60-minute concept based lecture, after which there will be an aptitude test and one-on-one counseling. Okay, and in one-on-one counseling, they will be suggesting what's the best thing for you. So, do not miss this golden opportunity. The link is given in the description box. You can click and submit the form. Works? So, that's all, champions. Now, Soumik sir will be going ahead with the physics part. Bye-bye. Take care.
So, hello everyone. Let us continue with the solution for physics part. Our biology part is already been explained by Jasmine ma'am. I hope you enjoyed the session. Now, I am going to discuss about the human eye and colorful world. Let us look into the and it is based on the complete chapter, right? So, let us look into the question scheme. So, you have 6 MCQs as usual. You will also have 2 marks question, that is 4 marks, and you have two 3 marks question, that is 6 marks, and also you have a long answer type 5 mark question and case study based question 4 marks. Now from this chapter a case study based question is very common, okay, and it often asked in previous years, so we will see everything in our discussion today. Okay, so let's start with the first question, which is from physics. This is question number 13th actually, because the first 12 questions are obviously from biology, so we are going to discuss next 12 questions from physics. So which of the following phenomena of light are involved in the formation of rainbow? Okay, so we have to identify the portion where everything is correctly mentioned: reflection, refraction, dispersion. Okay, maybe correct. Let's see the other options: refraction, dispersion, and total internal reflection. So as you can see, the only reflection is incorrect. It is total internal reflection, because the raindrops, which is actually the raindrop from where these things happen, actually have a total internal reflection. Light rays enters, it splits, okay, that is dispersion. After dispersion the light suffers total internal reflection, and again another round of refraction. Combining them everything together we see the rainbow, right? So the process that involved is refraction, dispersion, and total internal reflection. So this is the correct answer. Not only internal reflection, it is total internal reflection. So be careful. Dispersion is the process where light splits into different colors, okay, and total internal reflection, where the entire light is getting reflected from inside the raindrop, right? This is the raindrop. We have seen this diagram in our book. Also we have discussed that while doing our classes, so if you have missed that, you can go back and check the classes where I have discussed everything. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. At noon the sun appears white. Okay, so if you have seen at noon, even though it is not advised to see the sun in your naked eye, but during the noon the sun appears most whitish during the entire day. Now why it is so? Because light is least scattered, because sun is on top of our head and most of the light that is falling are not scattered too much, so all the light present in sun reaching our eyes, that's why it is appearing white. So white means all the colors are present, right? All 7 colors are present, that's why it is appearing white. So that's why during noon, when the sun is exactly on top of our head, the light travels directly without much scattering, that's why we see it's white. At any other angle, when the light is falling on something, okay, it's scattered and we do not see the whitish part of the light of the sun, sorry. Now next question. A student sitting on the last bench can read the letters written on the blackboard, but is not able to read the letters written on his textbook. Which type of following statement is correct? So the student is able to read the blackboard, that is he can see the far objects but he cannot see the near objects, so it is called farsightedness or hypermetropia. Okay, and hypermetropia occurs when the near point is moved back. Okay, so the correct answer to this is, let's see the options. The near point of this eye has receded away, the near point of his eye has come closer to him. Okay, the far point, obviously this is not related to far point, it is related to near point, and near point has gone to a distance, that means near point has receded away. Okay, so answer is option A. Again option A is the correct answer. So near point has receded away. Next question, question number 16. So this is related to a image. Let's check the image first. Okay, a prism ABC with BC as base is placed on a different orientation. A narrow beam of white light incident on the prism as shown in the figure. In which of the following cases after dispersion the third color from the top corresponds to the color of the sky? So color of the sky, I have discussed this question during my class. Color of the sky is blue, obviously. So when will we get the third color as blue? So we know that the form is weave gear. right? So third color from the top means first one should be violet. But if the prism is like this, will we get violet at the top? No, we get red at the top, right? Normally we get red at the top and violet. I am not using the color, okay, violet at the bottom. But they said from the top. That means only possible way is when light is traveling like this. In this case, red light scattered the least, so it will go like this. Here you will get red, and violet colors are scattered the most. You will get violet here, and somewhere after 1, 2, 3 here you will get the blue light. So you can say, and this will be indigo obviously. Okay, so this is the correct answer. So correct answer for this question is option point number 2. Point number 2 is where? Point number 2 is given at option B. So option B is the correct answer. But while answering such image based question, you have to be careful. Sometimes they might even change the order of the numbers. Okay, instead of giving it 1, 2, 3, 4, they will give you 1, 4, 3, 2. So you have to be careful, don't answer blindly, check the option once before you mark them, right? Next question, an assertion and reason based question. The danger signals installed at the top of a tall buildings are red in color. Okay, that is correct statement. Now what is the reason given? Red light can be easily seen from a distance because among all the colors the red light scatters the most, which is not correct. Even though it is almost correct, but it is not correct. It is exactly opposite. It scatters not the most, it scatters the least. So definitely reason is not correct. Okay, assertion is correct. So correct option is assertion A is true but reason R is false. So option C is correct answer. Okay, be careful while answering such questions. Okay, you might be feeling tempted to answer option A, but option A is not the correct answer in this case. It is the opposite. Now the clear sky appears blue because, again, why the sky appears blue? Blue light gets absorbed in the atmosphere. Ultraviolet radiations are absorbed in the atmosphere. Violet and blue lights get scattered the more lights of the all other colors by the atmosphere. Light of all other colors is scattered more than the violet and the blue color lights by the atmosphere. So obviously, as you can see, correct answer is option C. Blue and violet colors scattered the most, and that's why they reach our eyes, where all other colors, they do not scatter, they pass straight and they do not reach our eyes. That's why only blue color we can see. Okay, now let's look into the short answer type question, 2-marker question. A student sitting at the back of the classroom cannot read clearly the letters written on the blackboard. Now the scenario that we have seen in our objective question, it is opposite to that. Here what is happening, the student is not able to see whatever is written on the blackboard, but he can see everything that is close to him, close to her. Okay, what advice will a doctor give to her? Draw a ray diagram for correction of this defect. Okay, so the doctor will advise the student to get an eye exam to check for myopia. Very important. Also, the doctor will advise her to wear glasses of concave lens. This is also very, very important. Both things are very important. You have to mention the term myopia and concave lens. Both has to be mentioned. Okay. Now the ray diagram will look like this. So the parallel ray of light coming towards the lens after falling into the lens. Okay, it is slightly deviated, and then after falling into the eye lens, they are converging at retina. Okay, and appearing this ray is appear to come from some other point. Now how to draw this ray diagram? To draw this ray diagram, first of all you have to draw this lens. You have to draw the eye roughly, not exact the same way. You can draw using your compass. You can draw this. Okay, and then you have to take a lens. Not everything has to be perfect, but it should look like a convex lens, right? And this should look like a concave lens. Now you have to take a point, an imaginary point, and then this should be somewhere far left of your notebook, far left of your sketch, that way you are drawing. Now draw the parallel rays up to this lens. Okay, up to this lens, draw the parallel rays. Now from here to here you join them using a scale. Obviously you have to use a scale. Okay, join up to this point. From here to here you draw the solid line. Okay, from here to here you join them using a dotted line, but you continue the same line using a solid line up to the lens. Okay, after it reaches the lens, from there you can join them at the retina at some arbitrary point. Okay, so be careful while drawing this ray diagram, and this ray diagram is actually very important. You cannot ignore this. This is a question from one of the previous year questions. Okay, now let's see another question. Study the diagram given below and answer the questions that follow. So the diagram that they have given, this question is based on hypermetropia. As you can see, the near point is receded back, and at current near point the observer is not able to see the objects clearly. Name the defect of vision depicted in this diagram, stating the part of the eye responsible for this condition. So first of all, hypermetropia, the eye lens is responsible for this condition. So the condition is hypermetropia and eye lens is responsible for this condition. Okay, now what type of lens should you use to correct this defect and state its role in this lens? Convex lens is used to correct this defect. Eye glasses with converging lenses provide the additional focusing power required forming the image on the retina. So what you have to do, you have to use a convex lens. You should practice the ray diagram for this as well. Okay, again to draw the ray diagram, a similar method you can use. And then from there you can join them. Okay, I am not using a scale. I am not very good at drawing with open hand, as you know already, because I have done a lot of drawings, but you can use a scale to get the diagram properly. Okay, so here also the process is same. First of all, you have to draw this ray up to the lens. Okay, up to the lens as usual. Then from here you have to join this. You have to join this point, and then from there you can join up to lens. Then from there you can join them in the retina, same way. Okay, you can join them on the retina. Only 2 rays are sufficient, so that as if the ray which is stating here, they are appearing to come from here. That's why your eye is not messing up. Your eye can see the objects clearly. Okay, so basically the additional converging power required by the eye, that is being provided by this converging lens. Okay, now next question, define the term power of accommodation of human eye. Write the name of the part of the eye which plays a major role in the process of accommodation and explain what happens when the human eye focuses nearby objects and distant objects. So let's see the answer. The ability of the eye lens to adjust its focal length is called accommodation. However, the focal length of the eye lens cannot be decreased below a certain minimum limit. Be careful to answer this question. Now, the ciliary muscles plays the major role in the process of accommodation by adjusting the curvature of the eye lens. So which part of the eye is responsible for the accommodation? It is the ciliary muscle. Okay, be careful, ciliary muscle. Ciliary muscles are responsible for accommodation of eye, not the eye lens. Eye lens itself cannot do anything. That is why when you grow older, okay, ciliary muscles loses that power of accommodation. Ciliary muscles cannot contract or expand like it used to do in the when you are young, so right, so that's why you lose this power of accommodation, and you needed glasses to see things. Now what is the third part? Explain what happens when human eye focuses nearby objects and distant objects. Okay, so this is the basically part 1 of the answer, and this is part 2. Okay, when we are looking at objects closer to the eye, the ciliary muscles contract, making the eye lens thicker. Consequently, the focal length of the eye lens decreases. This enables us to see nearby objects clearly. Okay, when the muscles are relaxed, okay, the lens becomes thin, thus its focal length increases. It enables us to see distant objects clearly. Okay, so when we are seeing close by objects, okay, we need more power of the from the lens, and when we are seeing distant object, we need less power from the eye. Okay, and in case something else happens, then you need a lens to correct that mistakes, right? Now Next question is question number 22. A person needs a lens of power minus 4.5D for correction. What kind of defect in the vision she is suffering from? So first of all, the power of the lens is negative. So power of the lens is negative. That means the defect of the eye definitely is myopia. Okay, she is suffering from myopia. What is the focal length of the corrective lens? Focal length, we know that focal length, relationship between focal length and power is 1 by p, but here definitely we know that because it is in meter, if you want to convert it into centimeter, we have to use this formula instead. So this is in centimeters, and 100 divided by minus 4.5, which will be approximately not 25, not even 20, it will be somewhere between 20 and 25. Okay, 22.5 I was assuming. Okay, so it will be minus 22.5 centimeter. Okay, I remember that while solving that in the class I mentioned 25, but 25 is not correct because 25 is for 4. Okay, if the number was 4, then it would have been 25. If the number was 5, then the answer would have been 20. So the number 4.5 is between 25 and 20. If the number 4.5 is between 4 and 5, so I have assumed the answer to be 22.5. We can do the calculations, you can find the exact value, no problem in that. Okay. Now, what is the nature of the corrective lens? The nature of the corrective lens, definitely focal length is negative, f is negative, so it is a concave lens. Okay, this kind of judgment, this kind of understanding should be in you by now, because if you are not able to guess what type of lens it is, if you are still not able to guess from the sign, from the problem, then you are in a big trouble, right? So you have to be careful. Okay, whenever they give you a negative lens, okay, negative power, negative focal length, they are all related to concave. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. How does the diffraction take place in the atmosphere? Why do stars twinkle but not the planets? Another important question. Okay, maybe this question in exact this form may not come, but there is a chance that these questions might come as a part of another question. So let's see the answer. The atmosphere isn't uniform. Layers closer to the earth are denser, while the higher layers are less dense. Warm air is less dense than cool air, causing the light to bend. As light travels from space to Earth's atmosphere, it moves from a less dense medium, vacuum, to a denser medium, that is air. The change in the speed causes the light to bend towards the denser medium. So this is the part of atmospheric refraction. Okay, now why that stars twinkle? Stars appear to twinkle because their light bends multiple times as it passes through the turbulent air layers. Okay, I discussed this during our lecture, twinkling of stars, and why the planets do not twinkle. The planets are much closer to the earth and are thus seen as an extended sources. Thus their twinkling is not observable from earth. It is only observable for point sources. It is not observable for extended object, right? Be careful about that. And also I said during a class, if you see at a night sky something is twinkling, something is not, that means whatever is twinkling is a star, and something which is not twinkling probably a planet, right? Now this is a case study based question, very interesting question. Two children went to the park with their grandfather. While the kids played, the grandfather took a walk, then sat down to read his newspaper. After some time, he realized that he couldn't see the children because he had forgotten his distant glasses at home. That means, what is the meaning of that? He brought a pair of glasses which helped him to read the newspaper. But he had a different kind of glasses that allows him to see distant objects, right? But he forgot that glasses. He called out, but his voice didn't carry. Noticing his worry, a kind man nearby offered to help him find the children, bringing relief to the concerned grandfather. Okay, so grandfather was very old, so he was crying for his children, but they were far off, so his voice was not reaching, but someone bystanding person helped him to find his grandchildren. Okay, now name the defect of vision of the grandfather is suffering from. So what is the name of the defect of this problem? So defect of the vision in this case is presbyopia. What else? Which type of lens is used to correct this kind of defect? So this is very interesting. You need something called a bifocal length. Bifocal lens is required to correct this kind of mistakes. Now what else? State the cause of eye defect by which the grandfather is suffering. Okay, the cause of presbyopia is aging, so you have to mention that with age ciliary muscles gets weakened, and because of that the eye lose the power of accommodation. I have explained that in brief in accommodation part, right? So there you have to mention that with age ciliary muscles lose its power of accommodation, thus we suffer from this kind of mistakes. Now what is last? If a grandfather wears a lens of power -60 for the distant vision, find the focal length of the lens. So now we have to find the focal length of the lens. This is also easy question. This is an OR question, right? So I should not write number 4, I should write OR. Now what is F? Focal length is 1 by power, this is in meters. In centimeters it will be 100 by P centimeters, okay, or 100 by -6 centimeters. If you calculate, it will come out to be 16.67 centimeters. Okay, so the focal length of the lens is negative 16.7 centimeter, that is, it's a concave lens, right? This is a concave lens and the power is negative. And if you are also suffering from any kind of future vision, right, if you don't see your future, what you are going to do in your future, then worry not. Diksha is presenting Diksha Scholastic Aptitude Test or DSAT. Okay, what is DSAT? DSAT constitutes of 3-part process. First part is a 1-hour lecture plus doubt clearing session. So during the lecture and doubt clearing session, the teacher will teach you some concept. Okay, once the concept is over, any doubts that you might have regarding the concept, that will be cleared as well, and based on that concept there will be a aptitude test. Once the aptitude test is over, based on your aptitude result, there will be one-on-one counselor available to you. He or she will guide you for your better future. Okay, he or she will tell you that you are most adept for one of these. Either you are very good for JEE. If you prepare for JEE, there is a high probability that you might be successful at it. Okay, if you want to be a doctor and if you prepare for NEET, then maybe you are good for NEET as well, or you might be good for KSET exam to study engineering across different good colleges across Karnataka. Okay, based on this test results, the counselor can find the defects and scope of improvements, also what are your capabilities in future. Right, so what are you waiting for? Fill up this form. The link is given in the description for your secure and very well thought out future. Right, and if you have liked our videos, don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends. We will be back with new videos every day in 99% in 99 days series.